This is Andrew Stotts, and talking about careers in finance with Sanit Sirikolkarn. Sanit, maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about yourself. And I know we got a great opportunity that you've done a presentation recently about your career, and maybe we can learn more about you from that.
Hi, good morning, Andrew, and thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm excited. Actually, I'm always excited to be talking to a lot of people, even though it's online. People ask me all the time about how to be successful, and my answer is I'm not successful yet. Because, but I think I've been in the industry for 20 years, and in many parts of the industry. I started my career as as derivatives trader, structurer, and sales, and then I moved to the investment banking side, which require knowledge of that Andrew's specialized with, and now I'm in fintech, which is we can say it's specializing in wealth tech, right? Which is quite a diverse of span of career, right?
Right.
So there are few things that actually that perhaps I can be helpful, as someone who just started, in finance. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because we were just talking earlier, and we were talking about how someone looks at your profile, and you're absolutely very successful person. A young person looks at you and they say, look at your educational background. You went to the top school in Thailand, then you went to Georgia Institute of Technology for a master's in industrial engineering, then you went to University of Michigan. Then, oh my God, you're head of investment banking, at both Goldman Sachs, Krung Thai Bank, all of these things. But, I kind of get the feeling of what you've said is that I'm not that successful. I feel the same way. I've done a lot of things. I've achieved a lot of things, but I'm far from successful. And also that success is not a straight line, as we've talked about. So maybe you can tell a little bit of your story.
People look at LinkedIn career in LinkedIn and look at them as straight line, right? I mean, from outside, and it's all true. I mean, I graduated from Michigan, and I went to Paribas and actually did a very good job, and went to Goldman. Number one, luck plays a big role in your life, right? But it plays at different time. It doesn't mean that you will always be unlucky. So you have to be prepared, right? That's number one. So I was lucky early, let's say, but I work hard for sure, right?
Right.
I think, but so the first thing I say is, when I was young, I dreamt big. I look at the motivation for me to join finance is one thing only: the suits. They look. That's it. I went to I graduated as chemical. I did chemical engineering. Went to the factory, the industrial, and it doesn't look like it doesn't look good. And the bankers, they look great, right? So that's the only motivation to start with. and then when I start studying, my course are operational research, then math, right? And then financial engineering at Ann Arbor. They're also math. They're not really finance. And Andrew, by the way, I'm I want to take your class
Mhm.
because I never really take valuation class. I'm taking, I know quantitative finance, but I don't know how, so there are many branches of finance that you can, that you can choose
Yep.
your expertise, but you have to start somewhere. I start here, where where I have 4 terminals, looking at a lot of numbers at the same time, right? And they're all just numbers to me. Then the clients are just number two. I don't understand the human side of it yet.
Mm.
I made a lot of money
Mm.
um, for because and then comes ego too, right? I think everybody was experiencing, everybody in their career prior to Lehman, I think one way or the other have experienced a flush of ego, in finance.
Definitely.
So be mindful of it, right? Because um, you are touching other people's money.
Yep.
You are being entrusted with you are whether you're a wealth manager, whether you're a financial advisor, you are you're getting that job because they trust you. Finance is about trust, right? It's a
Great,
business.
great reminder, because when we go into it, sometimes we don't realize how important the ethics are and the trust factor is. So great reminder.
Yeah. um and the number one rules of of my firm, which I shouldn't, I mean, the wrong time, one MDB, it's all over the place now. But really, the number one rules at Goldman is anything you do, always remind yourself whether it can be in the newspaper
Mm.
in a bad way, right?
Right.
If it is, then don't do it. And I oppose it. You know, I really, any chance, don't take shortcuts in finance,
Mm.
because it will pay off in the long run.
Right.
Trust me.
Great.
Uh, I think I have I have made a lot of friends trust me, and it pays off, right, wherever you go. Right. So trust is the number one asset in finance. Valuation and all the knowledge, I think, is the number two assets.
Right.
Um, so when the market crashed, I um, I I was then my life didn't get worse. I moved to become head of investment banking at Goldman because the market crashed. I moved from the market side to the private side,
Mm.
you know, to do the M&A for the Thai company uh, who wants to buy cheaper assets offshore. Yeah, right. And did deals. Took a long time for Goldman, who's never been in the country or hardly been in the country, and eventually we gain trust, and then we get to lead one of the biggest equity deal ever in Thailand. Then
Mm.
um, and then I came back. Um, I set up investment banking unit for Growth Thai Bank, but I have a feeling that it's not me. The pay was good. Um, it's an easier one than Goldman, but I feel that it's not, it's my gut feeling tell me that I won't be happy. I need to do something new. So
Mm.
I think, and I'm just jumped into fintech. What
Yep.
is fintech, right? Really, I only know how to use my computer, and that's it, right? So I took that decision after I set up. I think the team is still running. I moved to fintech, and I'm still struggling to do it. And at that, so if to sum it up, really, this is what I learned up to now.
Mm.
What's important in finance? I'm gonna add technology into this later,
Yep.
but when I'm qualified to do it, it's knowledge, right? Network and integrity, right? I think that's what will if you ask me, what's the formula for success? And the most important is, this is my my advertisement of
Mm, mm, mm.
what I'm doing in
Right.
fintech. Technology
Right.
will bring. So be mindful of technology. Right? Use technology where it can be used. Right? Whatever can be automated, try to automate it.
Mm.
Um, like what you just told me. Don't resist it. Don't resist it, right?
Right.
And then because your human judgment, your and you will get to use your judgment. You learn to um, interact. You learn more about people, which is much more important,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
And technology do the rest.
And technology
So
can't
that
replace trust.
can never. Actually, I put it in my manifesto.
Mm.
You know, my company um, slogan is empowering trust. We use technology to empower trust, right? Um, and I
That's
think
great.
that's anyway.
Mm.
Right now, I don't know yet,
Mm.
right? So I'm just an early stage startup. I mean, if we see call me again in 6 months, and then I can tell you where we are. Um, some advertisements.
Yep.
Um, oh, that's a lot of advertisement. But all of that was just half of the story. The real story, and you really, if you ask, you know, if you're a stranger and you ask me, actually, in my LinkedIn, right?
Mm.
Right? That's people. That's what I want you to see. Right? But the reality is like this. I, when I was in July, I barely graduated. I played sports.
Yep.
I played rugby, and I mean, I didn't go to class at all for the first 2 years. Struggle, and then and people pull me out. I have to thank a lot of people pull me out. Went to Michigan, and then after Michigan, actually failed more than 20 interviews. I flew to New York about 10 times. Right, city named all the banks, including Goldman, right? and they are in the kind of the middle office, risk management,
Mm.
and I'm nowhere near the Russians and all the quant guys. So um, and then I got a call out of the blue from BNP Paribas in Bangkok, and then and after then when I moved to Goldman, market crashed. all all the people on sitting next to me on my line, they all left
Mm.
in one day. Right. Um, the mood was horrible, and um, you know, it really feels like that's the end of investment banking as we know it.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I remember that feeling in
Um,
1998.
yeah. Yeah. In Hong Kong, then it is depressing, but but um but you kept going like there's nothing.
Mm.
Just kept going. What happened is, I mean, a lot of my clients lost money, and so I just kept at it. I mean, um, just taking care of them, and just kept at it.
Yep.
Right. And then, um, and then in Goldman, they changed direction. Um, and I, to be honest, I told them to fire me. I mean, to make me redundant,
Mm.
so I get more money, because it's it's a it's a collapse of civilization.
Mm.
Um, this then, um, it's not a great feeling
Right.
to be at a firm that you love for 10 years, um, and I felt lost.
Yep.
Yeah, right. I mean, for a while, and I joined a local bank, which is good. I mean, they are doing what they're doing,
Mm.
but it's very different. I feel even more lost. Right? Um, and I feel, I've been working hard for, how many years, and suddenly you're out of work. Luckily I have savings, but
Mm.
not knowing what you're gonna do in the future it's quite torturing. Actually.
Yeah.
And then I found this interesting, area of finance that I can maybe contribute, and do something. So I start putting the dots together, and start again. So I don't know how many times I restart.
Mm.
How many time I up to this point. Right? And right now I even don't even know that it's a success. But if you ask me, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
I'm
This is
right.
a this is a very
Yeah.
honest chart.
Mm. So so it's so I'm very used to failing, really. And if if you're a banker, you're a salesman, and you know how to fail.
Mm.
Um, because when you fail, you learn why you fail. So it's okay to fail, really.
Mm.
It's keep failing, but learn. Right?
And that's great advice also for young people who think you've got to do, perfect on this or that. I always tell the story about how I failed CFA level 2, and then later I failed CFA level 3 the first time. And
Really, I'm
yeah.
I'm not taking the class anymore. Sorry.
Well, I always tell students, I have a PhD in finance, and I've worked my whole life and career and studied and taught finance and worked in finance. You think I'm not smart enough to take the exam? No, it's just that I didn't budget my time and I didn't devote it. And later, when I realized it still was a high priority to me, I rearranged my priorities and then, spent the time on it. But and when people see me previously, when I was president of CFA Society, they may say, "Wow, so successful." And I thought, what are you talking about? I lost, on second exam and the third, level, and I've lost many times.
Mm, mm,
And
mm.
you and I are both proof that even though we may go through a lot of ups and downs, we still can build success and build, our happy future. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And and it may sound um it may sound cheesy, to tell anyone to believe in yourself, but there's nothing else you can say, right? I mean,
Mm,
um if you don't believe in yourself, believe in yourself. And when you say you can do anything if you put your mind to it, it means that you can put your mind to it.
yep.
That's the power. Put your mind to it. Something will come out. It may not be something you expect, but
Mm,
something will, right?
great
Believe in
advice.
yourself, as in you may not know what you have. Just believe, right? That's I think, I didn't know that how I, my actually my fintech, it's been a year now, and it's struggling,
Mm,
and it start taking off. I start, it's we start getting things going, and we've been, I can't tell you it's
mm, mm,
confidential,
mm,
but
mm.
it's making big progress right now. Right?
Fantastic.
So yeah, exciting.
Yeah.
And I
Um,
would need your advice actually.
yes,
Some later.
that would be. I'm looking forward to learning more about that.
Yeah.
There, I like the ending. Trust me. All right. I'm going to. Can you hold on one second? Let's see if I can do that. Can you stop sharing your screen now, and then we'll just see your face, and we'll wrap it up. At the
Oh,
top, you should see where it says on the Zoom box. It should say "Stop sharing screen."
uh,
Maybe.
stop
Oh,
share, stop
yeah,
share.
yeah. There you
Okay.
go. Okay, perfect.
All right.
So I think that was a great story, and I think you've pulled it all together very nicely.
Mm,
And I
mm.
think if you think about, maybe we'll wrap it up with one last question, which is, knowing what you now know about the world of finance and the way it's changed and what opportunities lay out there. If you're talking to a young person who is interested in the world of finance, what advice would you give them about how to build that career in finance?
I, I, it's a, it's really finance. It's at the end of the day, I mean, numbers are numbers, right? Um, I mean, be genuine to your responsibility.
Mm,
Um, and never let your guard down in terms of integrity.
right.
Never. I mean, I, you know, I, I work in large institution, the whole time. Look at the one MDB,
Mm,
Sega.
yep.
They're, they're my boss, and they let their guard down. Uh, I mean, don't ever let your guard down, and people will trust you because it will show,
Mm.
no matter where you are, no matter how gray a place you are. Never let your guard
I would add into that too the idea that it's only money. It comes and goes in our life,
down. Yeah.
and never compromise your principles to try to grab money, because in the end it works out badly on your
Yep.
reputation, on your potentially on your life, like in the case, this case. And also it wears you down emotionally about how you feel about yourself. So I think it's a real great lesson about, you know stay vigilant about your integrity, because
Yep.
I have had a long career and have stayed vigilant about that. and therefore I don't have to overcome something. I have someone, plenty of people I know that have faced a really big issue and they've made a huge mistake. It's a very difficult thing to get over, and the society doesn't help, doesn't, people don't, once you lose trust, it doesn't come back easily. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and then you don't even trust yourself, right? I
Sure.
mean,
You lose
you done
confidence.
that, you are, you know, you done that forever, right? I mean,
Yeah,
so yeah.
exactly. Great. Well, listen, I want to thank you for sharing, all of that. And I'm going to turn off the recorder and then you and I'll talk for a few minutes.
Okay,
All
thank you.
right. Yep.